Major arrest in a foiled terror plot against New Jersey's Fort Dix. 6 local men described as Islamic radicals are accused of planning to use automatic weapons to kill as many soldiers as possible. The suspects trained for their terror mission in the Poconos. Authorities say they were prepared to die. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Pat Shiraki.
And I'm Yuki Washington. It's alleged the suspects were planning to storm Fort Dix in a heavily armed attack against soldiers as part of a jihad against America. The Burlington County base is on its highest security alert level. Authorities say the suspects also scouted out other possible targets before settling on Fort Dix. They include New Jersey's Fort Monmouth and Lakehurst Naval Air Station, Delaware's Dover Air Force Base, in Philadelphia, the U.S. Coast Guard building, and the Naval Shipyard. Authorities say the suspects even considered killing soldiers at the Army-Navy game. The suspects are Sardar Tatar of Northeast Philadelphia, Agron Abdullahu of Williamstown, Mohammed Schnur of Pennsauken, and Dratan Shane and Eljvir Duca, all from Cherry Hill. Our Walt Hunter begins our live team coverage in Camden with the details on the terror plot and how the suspects were busted. Walt?
Oh, Yuki, imagine the most terrorizing terror novel you've ever read, and then when you read this complaint filed by prosecutors and just released here at the U.S. courthouse, it's all the more terrifying because prosecutors say what was planned here was all too real. This band of 6 suspects practicing in the Poconos, getting a hold of ammunition, trying to get a hold of guns, and planning all types of attacks at all kinds of places, including the Army-Navy game. The redeeming factor here, prosecutors say the FBI was onto this plan from its very beginning 17 months ago, and they tape recorded, had informants inside on virtually every step of the way. The trap snapped shut last night in raids by FBI, local, and federal police. This was the scene this morning here at the federal courthouse under very heavy security as the suspects were brought in vans. 5 of the suspects in the vans that you're watching there. They had been arrested without incident at various locations around Philadelphia. In addition to the suspects inside these vans who are now awaiting arraignment, a 6th suspect was brought into the U.S. courthouse in Philadelphia. There you see cars bringing the suspects in there. As to the exact plans, there were plans, according to this criminal complaint, to open up with grenades and rifles at the Fort Dix military base. Also, a possible attack at the Coast Guard station on Columbus Boulevard. And in addition to that, an attack at Dover Air Force Base where the suspects allegedly talked of being able to see planes. And finally, and one of the most chilling allegations, a planned attack, and regrets that it actually didn't happen, at the Army-Navy game last year in Philadelphia. A full-scale discussion of that, including maps and surveillance. One of the quotes in the arrest warrant attributed to one of the suspects: "If you want to do anything here, there is Fort Dix, and I don't want to exaggerate, and I assure you that you can hit an American base very easily." Right now, outside of the federal courthouse, reporters from all over the country are gathering. An arraignment for the 6 suspects expected at around 1 or 1:30 this afternoon, where we may be learning more. In this complaint, the suspects talk about Allah and Jihad and willing to give their lives for the fight. They say they were awaiting a fatwa, which is an order to actually strike, although at this time, according to our sources, they are described as freelance jihadists, not an organized al-Qaeda sleeper cell or those types of cells which have been seen previously here and in other parts of the country. Again, the suspects saying they were not afraid to die. The FBI sting conducted for 17 months, and the FBI and prosecutors are assuring everyone that they were watching these men very closely. The guns, as part of this sting that they allegedly tried to sell the suspects, had firing pins removed. We don't yet know why the FBI chose to move overnight or early this morning. Presumably they felt that the investigation had been wrapped up as far as it can go. There's no indication of exactly when any attack was specifically planned at any of these bases. However, as to the seriousness of this, when you read the complaint, among the videos that these suspects watched were the last will and testament of 2 of the 9/11 hijackers. also Usama bin Laden videos, and a number of other things, including watching a U.S. Marine with his arm being blown off in an attack and laughing at that DVD. By the way, the final way that this whole thing came about, they tried to make a copy of the DVD. When they made that copy early on 17 months ago, someone got suspicious, told the FBI, and it was that tip, that person very much considered a hero by prosecutors, that led to this investigation that may have headed off very serious and deadly terrorist attacks. We'll be back live with much more as the situation develops. For now, live from the Camden Federal Courthouse, Walt Hunter, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Walt, thank you very much.